Is the exterior of your home or business covered in dirt, mildew, or mold? Driveway or walkway stained? Pressure King can make your siding, deck, vents, and concrete look new again with no damage. Pressure King has cleaned the exterior of houses and businesses all over Sumter County area. Usually it takes less than a day and costs less than you would expect. Call AJ at 352-457-7209. Welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today we have a special guest, a good friend of mine from back out over at Disney. We worked together, and we got a lot to talk about. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. And he's got his own podcast, and so we're going to mention that too. But without further ado, please welcome to the show my good friend Nick Lammert. Nick, welcome to the show.
How's it going, Billy?
What's up, man?
It's been too long, I tell you.
Man,
it's been. We were just like 10 years, I think. We but it seems like yesterday. 10 years, but yesterday.
It does. It feels like it was literally yesterday. I mean, it goes by so
jump
fast.
Back into it. I think if we all went back to the league, we could all just jump right back in. That's what I think. Even though we say it, and then once they're like, "Oh yeah, open the doors," we're like, "Oh god."
People are going to think we're back in the NHL league or the baseball league, but no, we're talking about the Pirates league back in the day.
Pirates league. Oh yeah.
Pirates league. For those of you who don't know, Nick and I worked. We were in Adventureland by Pirates of the Caribbean, and just between the exit of the ride / gift shop,
right,
and the actual entrance to Pirates of the Caribbean, they had a little area that you could go and get
the whole experience.
Pirate.
It was a whole pirate experience. Yeah, you come in. And it was Disney's answer to the Bippity Boppity Boutique, which is hair and makeup and stuff like that. So this was pirate. They capitalized on the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and the kids could come in. And I mean, I say kids, but adults, anybody could come in and get a full pirate experience and get their makeup done and their pictures taken, and obviously buy some more merchandise. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's been 5 years of my life there. It was opening crew.
Oh, that's right. What was that? The year that it opened, was that 2010
or was it 2009? I think
9. Okay.
9. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, because I came on the scene. I was around, but I wasn't around. You know what I mean? I was all over the place. That was my park hopper days. I kept going back and forth. Animal Kingdom. Oh my gosh, it was a mess. You started off.
Cast member that we'd go into the parks, and then we'd never know where Billy would pop up. Like all of a sudden, it's like you get like a straw. Billy's got a big hand, and you like all of a sudden you feel it on your shoulder, and you're like, and it's like Billy with this giant smile. Hey, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Well, I just picked up a shift, doing this. Yeah. And then, one time in Epcot, all of a sudden, another, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh my god, Billy. So yeah, he was all over the place. It was like, where's Waldo of Disney?
Yeah, I consider myself the Walker Texas Ranger of Disney, because you never know where their eyes of the Ranger are upon you. You know what I mean?
There you go. I like how I say, "Where's Waldo?" And you're like, "No, Chuck Norris, man."
I went from one extreme to the other. Nick, I appreciate you taking the time out for me today. I know we've had some. We've been trying to schedule this for quite some time, and I appreciate you just taking time out of your busy schedule. And I know your family. We'll have to talk about that too. I didn't mention that. We got a lot of ground to cover. So So what are you doing these days? Like what's going on? Where is Nick at these days?
So we actually moved from Florida about a year ago up to upstate South Carolina, and loving it. Oh man, we get the 4 seasons now and everything like that. So, and I get to work remotely for in sales. I like sales and everything like that, sales management. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, we live upstate now. We get the 4 seasons. Not that I don't miss Florida. Like we miss going to Disney, like having that capability of going like on the weekends or at night, to Disney Springs and stuff. But the weather is just so much better here. I have always kept calling it the devil's armpit. Like it's just so hot all the time. But no, dude, just making new friends. We're getting out more, which sounds sillier because it's Florida, but Florida, I always laugh because when we go back to visit family, it's like you think about what you want to do and how long you're going to be outside. But here it's like, let's take the kids to the park, or let's go to the farmer's market, or let's eat outside. Like that, we have that capability now and stuff like that. So no, just living, loving and having fun, man.
The difference between where you're at now and where you were before is we have the Four Seasons Hotel. You have the Four Seasons, the seasons.
Exactly. Like fall, like the leaves are starting to change now, and I grew up with the Four Seasons, where my wife is from Florida, which is a rarity, right? Like
native here too.
Native, somebody that's born and bred in Florida. Normally everybody's I was a transplant, but I'm originally from St. Louis. So we had the Four Seasons, and Florida's fun. You get to be hot all the time, and that sounds fun. But when you have to put up a canopy or be in water or put out fans, like I remember, I couldn't tell you how many Halloweens we had fans going on behind us outside, just because to beat the heat, and like last year the kids got to go do it with jackets on, so it was like, oh, they get to or they had long sleeves on and stuff like that, so that was a lot of fun.
The closest thing that we have to Florida with seasons is not just Four Seasons, but we have to go to Magic Kingdom to ride the Carousel of Progress in order to get the Four Seasons there. Because
right,
it's literally like spring, summer, fall, and winter, and it's like, I'm like, when I was growing up, I was like, wow, they have a lot of different things going on. It sounds like it's always the same here, like even at a young age.
Billy,
go
I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're
good.
I
have been on the Carousel of Progress a lot. I used to take naps on that ride.
Love that ride.
I never realized that they did the Four Seasons until you just said it.
No way.
It makes sense now.
Nick, you can't be sleeping the whole time, man.
Oh my God. I can't. Well, I remember the Christmas part, and I remember that little Halloween part, but I never put then the 4th of July part.
The first one is Valentine's Day.
I just never put it together.
Which is not really spring. It's more spring for us. But right. It's more spring than Halloween or 4th of July. But
Oh man, you just blew my mind a little bit.
I mean,
honest truth, I never put that together.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. We gotta learn it. You learn something new every day.
Have a good
day. And we're done.
It's a 6-minute podcast right there.
And that's a wrap, folks.
I'm your new reel. That's it. I'm just a reel.
Opius Clips that I use is going to have a field day with that one. No, but it's going back to that ride. That's a great ride. I love that ride. And
I mean, if you think about the whole thing, like when it started, like how old it is, it's the longest running attraction in the world. Like it's, that was his vision. It was at a World's Fair, and I, every time I hear it, I hear the Christmas story. That was a big thing, the narrator from it narrates that, narrates it. And it's like, so that was heartfelt, and it's just neat to see everything. And I think it's good for like kids too. Yeah. It's like a history lesson. Yeah. Plus a ride and a song that gets stuck in your head for the rest of the day until you ride It's a Small World. Sure. But, as innovation goes, it was pretty cool. I mean, to think of it,
Well, it also, like, I'm very nostalgic. I mean, I know people say don't live in the past, but I don't know, man. If you ride that ride, you go, man, life had to be pretty good back then. I mean, I'm sure they had their problems, but
yeah.
Like today, I'm assuming the biggest problem you got is someone that I was just talking about that to somebody on another podcast. I can't remember who it was, but like someone found an old like long form conduct, and one of the things was like chewing gum in class and not making the waste basket when you shot a piece of paper in there. And I'm like, we got like all these other bad things. Somebody gets shivved in the bathroom or shanked, or I can't. It's shiv. Shiv is the verb. Shank is the noun.
No, shiv. I got shivved with a shank in my shide.
Now my shide hurts.
In my shide hurts. Oh, and I shit my pants.
Carol Shannon comes out. Someone's singing my song.
Wait, I should hear you. Oh, that's funny.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing gear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kingston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with them. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store.
We'll talk about conduct. And we were at Disney at a big time. I would say at a pivotal time because for look wise, that's when they could start having beards.
Oh, yeah,
That's when Disney said okay to beards. And I remember I couldn't grow one. Like I had problems connecting pieces, but being at the Pirates League, I just paint it on. For a while there, when I was trying to grow it in, I was just painting on beards.
I was gonna say, I remember you being pretty clean, like shaved, like not shaved, but you don't have what you have now, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I didn't start off that way, yeah, and then I had because you could do the mustache, you could do the goatee, or you could do a beard. And I remember doing like piece parts of whatever could grow in, and I remember they gave me a hard time for my cheeks, and so I just would fill it in. I filled it in with some makeup. It was fine. It worked out.
Well, you had some very interesting people that were in that area as well. And it was two different departments working together.
Three.
Actually, three. You're right.
Three?
Because you had photography too.
We had photography. Right. We had the merchandise, and then we had us.
Yep.
Which we were technically what they called merchantainment.
Right.
So it was three different, and we all had different prerogatives. You guys had to get certain number of shots. We had to get the guys in the the merchandise in the front. Had to ask about selling the pictures and selling other merchandise. The costume like that. But then even like us, we had to we had the costumings that we could add on, and we also had we had to get so many butts in the chairs. And we did, and it was. I can't remember if we had like a time limit on it. Like it wasn't like everybody had to be in the chair for 30 minutes, but like when we got busy, it was like, you had to go between the, you had to give a good experience, right? But then you couldn't do too much. So we had a little bit of both, right? And that was just like any workable business. You had people that like you could count on that could get a kid in and out of a chair in 10 minutes and it make them feel like it was 30. But then you had some people that you were like, okay, well, give it to them, and they're going to be in the chair for 30 minutes, no matter what. Every kid got 30 minutes, and they'd get the 30-minute experience. So you just had to, knew how you had to work it around and stuff like that. But then, and the same thing with photography, right? You'd get some gunners in there. That's what we call them, gunners.
Yep, gunners.
And they'd have people again, picture, smile, out. Experience, and then other ones would be like, what are you doing? You've been there for 20 minutes. Like, give them the medallion. Get out.
Shove them out the door. Off the door. Walk the plank.
Yeah. And it was closed off, so you couldn't even see what was going on. Where we were, I could see everything. I could see what was going on. But I remember the door that you'd come out of, they'd have the peepholes. So I remember going over, like, popping the people out, going, "Hello, we have a line."
So we had the reason why I was in that area was we had Angelico from the Pirates of the Caribbean, the fourth one,
right?
Which was Penelope Cruz, Penelope Cruz's character. And we had we had training on that. Like we had people went out to, we went to Main Gate. Finally remembered the name of it. We went to Main Gate. I came to. It surfaced. Went to Main Gate. Did an extensive like 3-4 hour training on this. You know, it's so
training too, right?
Dialect. Yep, dialect and storyline, because the movie had not been released yet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and you couldn't look in the eyes either. That was the thing.
No, you can't. No, you couldn't. No.
Not turning to stone. Oh wait, that was Medusa. I'm bad. I'm wrong.
Yes.
I'm bad.
Speaking of stones, you remember the like where we would check in for the league, and they had all those little stones out there in the little planters.
Okay.
I would take one, and I would be I had several things. I would grab one and pet it and be like, "Oh, you're so pretty. You're so beautiful." And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm romancing the stone." And then they're like, and then over the head. And then
I always like making jokes to like just people that are like 10 years younger than me, and I'm like, I get it, romancing the stone. It's got Michael Douglas in it, Danny DeVito. Like, I get it, I got it.
It was one of the movies.
They look at you like you're nuts, and it's like, nope, it's a movie reference, and they're like, okay.
It was the movie we had on VHS in the break room. Right. So I had that. The other one was something about this is Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone, yeah.
Her dad was a rock star. Stuff. So when you're there for 8 hours, you think of the most bizarre things. But my favorite thing was we would play because the area was not very successful, because nobody knew who she was, because the movie hadn't been. Right. Yeah. So a lot of people had no idea who she was. So so we would go out on set and we would play what we called pirate and go seek. And so Angelica would run away and we would literally like play hide and go seek and got paid for it. It was great. And I remember you
guys would come to the league all the time, and that was like
yes, it was
neat stuff.
Yeah, it was we made appearances in there, and one day Angelica walked in there, and I don't know why, but they let us have pistolas. You know, I had the little pistola, like right. I was dressed in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride outfit as well.
Right. Yeah, right. That's how that's how they knew the difference between us and the different crews.
They knew I didn't belong there. They're like, this guy is not in our crew. This guy's not in our department. Never seen him before, and he acts kind of weird. So I walked in there, and I go, all right, where is she? And I don't remember who it was. One of the ladies goes, outside, you can't miss her. And I pulled the pistol up and I go, well, I don't plan to miss her. I thought about it today and I go, probably not the best thing I've ever seen.
All these kids are like, what did you need, Dad?
The dad's like,
older kid.
Yeah, Dad's like, true that.
The dad's going, but he's going, oh wait, I can't. That's one of those moments like, no, I hope my wife didn't see me laugh at that.
That's when you say no performers were hurt in the making of this.
Fictitious characters.
Yeah.
Everybody's made up. Yeah.
Yes.
And the points don't matter.
The names of the people have been changed for their own
protection, for their own anonymity.
Anonymity. Is that from Nemo? He's like, kid, get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah.
For almost 30 years, 75 Chrome Shop has been a family-run business with a dedicated team of longtime employees. We stay ahead of the curve in the ever-changing trucking industry, providing top-notch customer service and product knowledge. Whether you're looking for the latest chrome accessories or hard-to-find parts, we've got you covered. We offer aftermarket chrome for all big rigs, custom vinyl lettering, acrylic signs, and tags. Our 10,000 square foot facility, the oldest chrome shop in the South, houses a mechanic shop for oil and tire changes and chrome installation. Plus, we have a huge selection of lights for every vehicle on the road. Don't miss our annual truck show every April featuring over 200 trucks and family-friendly entertainment. Visit 75 Chrome Shop today, your truck's new best friend. So I listened to your podcast and it's great. If you want to go ahead and plug your podcast, tell us the name of it.
So we just started. I just started with my best friend Jason. It's called Details Untold. We're streaming on Apple and Spotify, and you can watch the show. Let me tell you, this guy right here. You can see us and our guests on YouTube. We have the shows up there. So the whole premise of the show is it hit me at the Super Bowl. When they were playing like the snippets beforehand, and you had brought them up too. Like I like talk radio, right? And I like Joe Rogan comes on sometimes. I like seeing different podcasters and stuff, But when I was watching the Super Bowl, the announcer guys are talking stats and this and that, like all but for the show. But like they showed Patrick Mahomes throwing a ball, and he had an earbud in, and I'm like, what is he listening to? Like, what does he do before the game to get like pumped up? Like, what is he listening to? Like, Madonna? Is he listening to plays?
Yeah.
Is he like, what is he, is he listening to, Baby Shark? Like, what's going on there? And then they showed like a couple other players, and the other players, like, I can't remember who it was, but like the one guy was like talking, and the other guy was like very focused. I'm like, I want to know like how did like, you're about to step out on the biggest field, on the biggest game. Like, what is going through your head? Like, is it like every time that he cocks his arm back, is he thinking like, oh shit? Or is he thinking like, oh yeah, I know my guy. Like, I know, just think, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Like what do they do before the game? How do they celebrate after that? Like, are they the guys that just like play the game and go home? Are they like so amped up that they want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and drink a beer? Like, like what, And then one of the commercials was for the Olympics, and it was like Simone Biles like flying through the air. And I'm like, what is she thinking of? So I called Jason, and I was like, he's always my go-to. Jason, I got an idea. And he's like, what? And I was like, I want to talk to people, like interesting people, and I want to know why. I want to know what's going through their head. Because when you do listen to certain podcasts and certain talk shows, and even like late night shows, right? They're always there to plug a movie. They talk about something part of their lives. And then it's like, but nobody ever like digs, right? Like how do you get prepared for the character? Like, like I'm watching all this stuff for like Beetlejuice, and it's like nobody, like people kind of ask, but Michael Keaton kind of stayed up very high level on like, how does he get prepared for Beetlejuice? It's like, but like, are you in your trailer, like, watching the old movie? Have you seen the old movie? Like, nobody was asking these questions. So I was like, I want to know. So that's the whole premise of the show, is I have interesting people that live normal everyday lives for the most part. And I want to know more about what makes them interesting. Like we had a plastic surgeon as a guest. We've had somebody that's been on the Food Network. We had a veterinarian on the show. I got some other ones that are coming. I got some very dear friends that were that I was a part of their podcast when I was a young sapling. They had me on a little stool, and I was like their intern, for a year or so. So they were my first guests. I was really excited, and they've done really cool things. And he was a director, and he's in a band and stuff. So it was just kind of neat to have them on and dig into it. So it's called Details Untold, hosted by Nick and Jason. And we try to release every 2 weeks, but I recently had a baby, so everything's been kind of
congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
But no, it's a fun time. We just try to have it's a conversation, and I think really what a lot of the feedback that I've gotten from the people that have been on the show is like, thank you for asking those questions. It kind of gives them an outlet to dive, instead, because I think a lot of times people have questions and they want to go, they're looking at 10 questions. They're like, okay, well, they answered kind of number one. Let me get to number two. Here it's like, we'll spend the whole hour on number one if we need to, as long as it's interesting, But as far as being a host, I'll tell you, my first two shows, man, I was trying, because I'm on camera, trying to get used to it. My face hurt so bad afterwards because I'm smiling the whole
Yeah.
time, going,
Yeah.
somebody's watching me, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh man, by the time it was over, I was like, oh, it hurts so bad. Now I don't smile as much.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like a stewardess on the flight. You're like, hi,
Hi. Yeah. So
That's
no, but it's been a blast, and I hope I can, make a difference in somebody's lives,
Yep.
or and I try to get a different variety of people on, so that way, if anybody's thinking about getting plastic surgery done, or going on the food, like me and my daughter watch the Food Network, and we got a lot of backstage information and how they shoot things and how that works, and just the details that, like, I feel like a lot of people don't know, that they just kind of assume. I'm hoping to have those kind of things answered, beforehand.
right.
And even like, I had two guys. I had one of my wife's cousin was on Broadway traveling for 14 years. And then I have another friend that was on episode 1 that does like local theater and stuff like that. So I asked them, both of them, like, how do you get in to character? Like, how do you just show up, get dressed and walk out? And it was different for both of them. It was different, answers, and we dug in and found out why, and everything like that. So I found that very interesting. I got to ask my Patrick Mahomes, what are you listening to question
That's awesome.
beforehand. So yeah. So hopefully we can keep it going,
I think it's important for people to know, like, you could see somebody on TV, just like you said with Patrick Mahomes, and you can look at him and go, I wonder if he's a nice guy. Or,
Right.
You see somebody else do something and you go, I've heard he's a jerk, but you don't know the real story. You don't know. That might have been, there are so many elements that could make that the way it was, but
Right.
that might have been just a fluke thing, or we all have bad days. Somebody might have been at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. And you've been places too, like where your day's going fine.
Yep.
And then somebody says something to you.
Yep.
And it just, like, gets you, your record skips,
Yep.
and he could be walking, anybody could be walking to an interview or whatever like that, and then their record just skips. And it's just like, and then that's what's out there. And you're like, oh man, that's, I just had a bad day. And I feel
Yep.
like that's a lot of times when you get to a certain status, like, people forget you're just real people,
They have bad days
just
too.
like
Yeah.
me and you. They
Right.
wake up with a sniffle, they can wake up, and like I said, I like that analogy, like the record skips, and
Yep.
it's like,
Yep.
you try to get it back on track, but sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I think people, like you said, they tend to forget that they are human, and
Right.
there are people out there. Now, there are some people that just, you can't make them happy no matter what you do.
Right.
But then there's people that'll bend over backwards for you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Super nice. Yeah. Super nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for you, Mr. Sports. Because
Sure.
because of in we like sportscasters, right?
Yes.
So I always joke, yay sports. Like, I never turn, like, I don't turn sports on. But now, Billy, if you said, hey Nick, we're watching the Pirates game, at 4:00, you want to come over today? Sure, I'll come over. I'll watch I'll eat the food. I'll watch the game. But I don't sit at home. Like, I don't turn it on. So the joke with everybody's like, Nick's yay sports. I'm like, yeah, I'll see who we going for. Yay, but I don't, but as far as my question is what do you think about sports casting now? With all the technology that we have, with the replays that we have, with the stats, with all of that stuff, like, would you rather be, I guess this is the question, would you rather be a athlete now, or would you rather be an athlete 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors, and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. As far as the athlete part goes, the sports now are definitely safer. Like a lot of people are worried about, like in football with the whole CTE thing, and the brain damage. I
was going more for the like the way that they like look, like they analyze.
Oh yes, well, I mean, hey, technology plays a key part in all that. Which also leads to back to what I said about the safety thing is they've got things on now that like I don't know if you've ever seen, you could YouTube this. It's called sports science. And they do now, and you don't even have to like sports, but you might like science. So they coexist with each other in this particular format because they will show someone like, okay, say they have a dummy. It's almost like Mythbusters, but for sports, and they're not proving it wrong. They're just showing you, like they'll show a dummy and they'll have a defensive lineman stand up, go in, get in position, go full speed and tackle. And it shows the initial, like they break it down to a science. Like he ran 12.7 miles per hour and they'll give the distance, and then they'll say, and they hit, the impact was about like getting hit by like a truck or something, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like they will break it down, and you didn't have that 15 years ago. You didn't have that 20 years ago. And you just go, oh, that guy got hit, but you don't know. You don't know all the logistics is what I'm saying. Right. There's way more logistics now. As far as sportscasters go, I think the sportscasters have a really, really good, I think it's more of an even playing field for them because say 20 years ago, they didn't have, like, again, it goes back to technology. We've got camera angles now. We didn't have what they call the sky cam, which is that camera that goes right, and it feels like it looks like a drone right in the middle of the stadium.
It's the GoPro on one of the players.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, it's some of the best camera angles I've ever seen in my life are like that. And I mean, they didn't have that 20 years ago, but I guess
they put GoPros on camera. Why didn't they put them on players yet?
I think
that would be cool, right? Like they run with the player, like that would be cool.
They have done that for like practice and stuff, but during the game, I think it's more of a liability of it. If it potentially bouncing off and hit somebody in the eye, or because they don't all have eye, like the eye shields.
Yeah, right. Oh no, but it's just like a little camera right in the top.
Right. Like, but if that guy leans his head down and your face message right here is going to go right in your face. A couple, I'd say 20 years ago, they had the referee threw a flag and it hit the guy in the eye, and he had to retire from football because it messed his eye up. I think he went blind. He played for the Browns. The referee just threw it up and it bam, hit him in the eye. And he never was the same. He never played football again. So I'm just talking about that was a freak accident, but I mean, something like that versus something that's intentionally on your head.
Yeah.
It's just, I just think there are other ways to do it than that, but that's not a bad idea. I've done that in our high school. I've got it's a headband, just like you would wear for a light, like your cave diving or whatever. Yeah. And I would put it on the helmet, and it had the GoPro right here, and you got some pretty cool shots. But it was just
So I have to tell you two stories about my EA Sports, because you have your Pirates hat on. Yes. And you got your Pirates thing. So when I was a pirate, I went and I got a Pirates hat because I was like, it's P for pirate. I'm a pirate. I'm a pirate, right? Not for the team, not for it, just because I'm a pirate, right? Yeah. But I had to stop wearing it because I put it on and people would walk out to me in like rivalry teams or, oh man, the game's on this. Oh, and I'm like, yay, baseball. I gotta do this, So then I stopped wearing sports hats because I couldn't. I was like, I can't compete with these guys that know what's going on. So then when we made the move, my mother-in-law gave me a Clemson hat because it's in town, right? Everybody's Clemson, and I'm like, cool. So I wore my Clemson hat, and I'm on the way up here, and this guy, I had to stop at the rest stop with the dogs, and this guy comes up to me like I'm just taking a little trash bag to the trash can, right? And this guy's like, Roll Tide, and I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And I'm like, what does he mean? Yeah. I kept going, Roll Tide. Why did he say Roll Tide to me? I forgot I had the hat on. So when I get to the car and I see the reflection of the Clemson hat, and I'm like, oh, that's why, right? And then like the next day, I'm at the gas pump again with my Clemson hat on, and the guy's talking to me about this game and all this stuff, and then he's looking at me, and I'm like, oh, he's looking at me to answer, and I'm like, yay, Clemson, and he's like, okay, and then he gets in the car and says, I can't wear a sports hat anymore. I can't keep up with this. Guys that know what's going on.
Just to make you feel better, real sports people will know who is real sports people and not, because I've done that before. Somebody will wear an Ohio State shirt, and every time, I mean, I don't pull for Ohio State. I mean, I could pull for them if I want to, but I don't really hate them. But they do a thing where you say OH and they say IO for Ohio.
IO,
right. That's how you know if they're a real Ohio State fan, because if they don't go IO, they're not real. They don't know. They don't know. No.
OH. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. They're like, OH.
What? You too.
Oh, home. HOA? What? You're like, yeah, no. But what's funny is a similar situation happened to me, but it didn't have anything to do with sports. But somebody was talking to me. I went to Pittsburgh, and I had a rental car, and on the way back down, there was 5 inches of snow in Pittsburgh, and it was like 5 degrees outside. So it's cold. It's going to be cold until I get, south, Georgia probably. But I'm headed south, and I pull in I'm in North Carolina, and I stop at a gas station to get gas, and I get gas, and the salt was all over the windshield, and he's got that white film, I couldn't see, so my windshield wiper's just smearing it, so I bought some windshield wiper fluid, and then I went over to the gas pump, and I got the little squeegee thing and wiped it off, and that lasted probably 3 miles until it was white again. But when I was doing that, the guy comes up to me and goes, he looks at me and he goes, did you y'all get some snow up there? And I was like, is he talking to me? And this, I'm not even at the gas pump. I'm like in front of the gas station, like in a parking spot. Right. Yeah. Like where they keep the gas, like the propane and the wood piled up, Right. So the guy's like, y'all get some snow up there? And I'm like, yeah. Like, where is there? I got snow where I was. What I didn't realize was the rental car had a North Carolina plate on it. So he thought it was from there. And he was like, y'all get snow up there? I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy thinks I'm up in the hills or something, like up in the mountains. And I come down for food or some gas.
I come down for fuel.
But I literally took it the way I was like, well, I was up there. I was in Pittsburgh, and they had 5 inches of snow on there. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, yes, sir. He's like, oh, he goes, that's what I heard. I'm like, okay.
Isn't that funny? And then you get in the car, and it was 2 different stories, but they still correlated.
Yes. Well, I didn't realize it was my plate till I got up to the next stop, and I looked when I went to wipe the car off again, and I looked and I go, oh, it's North Carolina plates. That's why he thinks I'm from here. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing wear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal and Clark, and Kingston Paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with it. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store.
But could you imagine? I mean, I've had it happen too, where like your two stories, your Pittsburgh and North Carolina, they both converged to yes, it snowed, right?
Yeah.
So that man could have went the rest of the day. He goes, oh yeah, they got snow up there, you know. But if you said no, and he's like, oh, they didn't get snow, and everybody's like, no, dude, they got snow, and he's like, oh. So then all of a sudden he's thinking about you back at the gas station, like that man lied.
That guy lied
like,
to me.
You know, like you know, that's happened to me before too, where I get in the car, I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. Yeah. Oh man, that guy is going to be telling the wrong story for the next hour or so.
You just have to, it's like hit or miss. You know, you try to be on the same page as people and you're like, did I got in the car and I was like, what? And then you think about it for like 3 miles and I have to wipe the car off and go, that's what I got. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do y'all get snow where you live at all, or no?
It can snow. It snowed like 2 years ago here. But what's really nice is we're in an area where we can drive to snow, so we'll just do that. We'll go tubing somewhere, or I'm not a big skier. It's hard enough for me just to stand up.
Yeah.
So thinking about putting skis on me and then going downhill is like.
I'm not going to make myself faster.
Put me in a tube or a sled. I'm like, I'm fine. But standing up, whoa, buddy, that's a whole other story.
Have you been to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge?
Oh Tennessee? Yeah. Oh God. Dollywood. Yes. I don't want to. I hope I don't offend anybody, but I think I turned my Mickey ears in for my big blonde wig. Like,
oh my gosh,
Dollywood fan.
Dollywood is so nice, though, man. I mean, I don't remember it being that nice when I was a kid, and we've been twice in the past 5 years, and I was like, oh my gosh, this place is like a little hidden gem, man. Nobody comes here. Oh yeah, they've got roller coasters.
Country music. Oh yeah,
yes.
It's fun for the whole family. Like where and one of the things that I over where from where we were, I don't say that because of this club where we went. It was median, right? All the rides were kind of median, right? They maybe had a little sway up and down, right? But most of the public can ride them, right? But here, like they have at Dollywood, they have like little rides for like my 3-year-old, like a little froggy jump ride. But then they also have, and they have several of those. And then they have the median rides where we can all do them. And then they also have ones where it's just roller coasters. So it's just for the adults to do it. And the shows, the amount of shows that they have and the amount of talent that they have and the amount of different, just, guys playing music versus like we just saw their newest show was about Dolly's life. Man, and it's wild to think like they just came out with that, but it was, and it was an amazing production. We go during Christmas, like if you go just like to Disney, man, like, you go during the seasons, like summer's like nothing, right? It's just straight park. But if you go during the fall or winter times, like I thought when they did the Osborne lights, that was cool at Disney. Yeah. Dollywood, everything is covered in Christmas lights. There's so many Christmas trees, everything like that. So, and everybody's super nice. I really genuinely love it. Like it's not just don't balk at it. Like it's a really cool theme park.
Did you when you go, let me ask you this, when you went, did you go and get you the cinnamon roll there?
Cinnamon bread?
My gosh, dude.
Oh yeah. We drank the punch, man. We went and then I actually I don't say we drink the punch, I turned the country music on. That's how I say it. But we went and we bought season pass. Because the season's pass, Billy, the season pass at Dollywood is the same price all year at Dollywood is the same price as a one-day ticket.
1 day, right? I think we did the same thing.
If we come back again, it's already paid for itself. So we go several times a year. I think we're looking to go shortly. But no, the cinnamon bread's fantastic. They have, if you go. They have a place that we had to wait for it. We had to wait like an hour and a half, but it was called, because we didn't make a reservation, but it's called Aunt Granny's, and it's an all-you-can-eat Southern buffet buffet.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding, I had 5 chicken breasts before I left.
Wow.
I personally ate five chicken breasts. I was sick, but I was a happy sick. It was one of those like,
right.
I hurt so good because I couldn't. Every time I took a drink of sweet tea, like all of a sudden my stomach was like, I got more room. Oh man, it was so like, so if you do go to Aunt Granny's, anybody that's out there listening,
that was on Guy Fieri's place, or his list or whatever that was on there.
I love that.
Yeah,
talk about a guy.
One of his top 10 or whatever it is, like he goes to. We, like I said, we went twice in the past 5 years. And the first time we went was Christmas time. It was the last day of that season, so it was like we went up for New Year's. So it was like January. I want to say the 1st or 2nd. We were I think
they closed the 4th, for the season.
Yeah. So it was like the last day they were open. And I remember because, like I said, it had been since I was like in 3rd grade since I've been, and my stepkids had never been. So we're asking for different. Like I had no idea where things were. I'm just basing things off my photographic memory, and I'm like, I asked this lady, I'm like, hey, so like, where is the kiddie area? Like I've got, because Jace was probably, I think he was 7 or 8 at the time, right? And I was like, not kiddie area, but the smaller, or we were looking for the train station. Yeah, it was something like that. And the lady's like, oh baby, it's right down here. She's like smacks me on the butt. She's like, get your butt over there. And I'm like, oh my,
what you doing there, honey?
Yeah, I'm like,
get you some cinnamon bread while you walk up that hill.
I was like,
buy me a sweet tea.
What is? I was like, what is going on? She's like, get your butt over there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I was saying sorry to her as I'm being
but like not because it was like it just was so welcoming.
Yeah,
like,
no, it wasn't.
Sure.
It wasn't threatening at all, but it was like it was like it was. I just felt like family.
Right. Yeah, you just walk. Yeah. And what's wild too is you go there. And you're right. Like you just like everybody's willing to talk to you. Everybody, guests, people that work there, everybody will talk. Oh, do you know where this is? And it's I don't like you don't even have to say I don't work here. You just say, oh, I think it's down this way. Like everybody's just so nice. Where if you go, I mean anywhere else, really. I mean anywhere in Orlando, anywhere. Like man, you don't even want to talk to anybody else. Like if you have to, like I dread single rider line. Where at like Dollywood, man, I'm like, who do I get to sit next to now? Like this will be fun. Like like I like at Disney, like or anywhere you're riding single rider, you're just on the ride going. But here you're just like I feel like screaming. I'm gonna scream, because they're screaming. By the end of the ride, you're holding hands with somebody. You're like this is great, See you later, Tim. But other than that, it's.
Yeah, and you're like your wife walks up, you're like, see you, Tim. You're like, who was that? That was Tim. Like Tim. She's like,
Tim, who's Tim? Like I met him 30 seconds ago. We had a life experience together on that ride.
We're Facebook friends now.
We're actually gonna go have dinner with his family here.
Yeah, we're going to Granny's, Aunt Granny's. I don't understand how that's Aunt Granny's. Isn't that like? Is that possible?
Call her aunt, I think, or her grandma or something like that.
But isn't
but also too, Bill, is only $26 for an adult meal there.
Oh, that's not bad. And it's buffet. Yeah.
Buffet. Yeah. $26. You can't shake a stick at that nowadays.
No.
Man.
No.
I paid for a Whopper and fries and a soda, and now I can eat 5 chicken breasts.
Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. Did you see they had some flooding there recently?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
That was awful.
But they were up and running, I think, the next day.
Oh yeah, it probably just ran down the side of the mountain. They probably didn't even have. They don't have drainage. I mean, it's like it all funnels to one spot, and they're like, push that over into the white water.
Yeah, right into the white water, right? Yeah, we don't have to fill it today. It'll be fine.
So on our way out, when we went 2 summers ago, my mom retired from. She was a pre-K teacher for like 30 plus years.
Thank her for her service.
Yeah, no, right. And so she's like, for my retirement, I want to take the family somewhere. So she couldn't make her mind up. And we had down to like a Disney cruise, and we had Disneyland, and it just everything wasn't going to work out. Either the cruise was way too expensive for there's going to be like 12 of us or 15 of us. It's going to be astronomical.
It's a lot for us.
She'd spend her like state retirement money on the trip. So I'm like, how about if we go to, because they hadn't been since I was a kid either. So why don't we go back to Pigeon Forge, and we can go to Dollywood and all that, Cade's Cove, all those good spots. And she's like, okay. So we go there, and so my dad's got bad knees, and he can't really walk a lot. And also he had a massive heart attack. So he's kind of, that doesn't add to the good side. So they got him a little scooter, so he's riding around, and this is at the end of the night where, you got to go through the last gift shop.
Right. Everything exits in a gift shop. So
yes,
everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere's a gift shop.
So Dollywood's version of the Emporium. You go in there, the Dalai Lama. Yeah. So we go in there, and there's another lady in there. So my dad had gotten off, and I was on the little scooter. I was just driving around, whatever. So I'm driving the scooter around, and then all of a sudden there's another older lady on the scooter, and she just takes out a whole display.
Oh man. Just took it out.
Like just kept going like it was a bulldozer. And my stepdaughter Kaden goes, I thought that was you. I'm like, come on. What give me some more credit.
Or did you just see the
I'm like, was she wearing a pirate's hat? Is she
She had white curly hair. Come on.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. What gave that away?
That's funny. Yeah.
So that was a place that we like to visit. But I was going to say Gatlinburg has was that Ober? Have you been there?
Oh yeah.
Ober?
We've been there. It's like the big up on top of the hill thing, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The ski lift and the
ski lift and the trees and
stuff
like that. Yeah. Ober Farms or. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, we did that. I like the moonshine, man. You just start at the top of the hill, and work your way down to the different moonshiners. And
that way, if you fall, you just roll
to the next. They got some guy out front going, "Oh, stop! Roll it in."
I totally forgot, but I've had a guest on, Mike Savage. He is a moonshine tender at Old Smoky at the island. Oh, Nick, if you go back to Pigeon Forge,
right,
let me know, please. I will hook you up. You got to meet this guy. He is hilarious. He is funny. I'm talking about funny, right. like I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he loves that job, and he's so good at it. Right. And I told him, I was like, dude, we bought like eight bottles of moonshine because you were like the salesman of the year here.
Right. Yeah,
but he was
moonshine's so good. I love apple pie. I know there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah,
but I always go back to I always have to apple pie. Apple pie is like the one I have to get, and then I'll try other ones. But I don't know. Apple pie is that. They sell it at the liquor stores here, Old Smoky.
Yes, they do. They sell it down here too. If you get a chance to try, do you like Jolly Ranchers?
I love everything.
Okay. Well, they have one. It's a watermelon, and it tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
They're all good, man. I was popping the cherry ones and the pickles, and they got all kinds of White Lightning. Oh,
Yeah.
White Lightning is a little harsher, but no,
White Lightning. So my cousin, when we were going up there, I was like, because I thought it was funny. I mentioned this to Mike in the other podcast. I was like, isn't it funny how they make moonshine in a dry county?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, that Sevier County or whatever that is, like whatever Sevierville, but I think I can't remember if that's the name of the county as well. But it's a dry county, and there's like 18 distilleries there. I'm like, there's one right.
Maybe that's how they get around it.
Yeah, well, it's got a lot to do with like, I don't want to say it. It's almost like lobbyists. Yeah, like lobbyists. Yes. A lot of people have a lot of pockets to fill, which hey, it's also it's like our tourism. It's a thing. Yeah, it's income.
I'm a thing. Oh, while we're talking about moonshine, it has nothing to do with moonshine, but it's alcohol related.
Right?
Have you heard of the new Beetlejuice Fanta?
I've seen it. Dude, yes,
get it.
I saw a guy chug it, like 4 of them.
Don't do that. But it is bright green.
Yes, that was it.
If you mix it with it is fall in a can. That's like the flavor's haunted apple.
Gotcha.
But it is fall in a can because you can get different notes and hits. But if you put it with Fireball, oh dude, it's like it's my fall drink now.
That is awesome.
It's sweet, but if you throw some Fireball in it, buddy, it's a good one.
So are you like I know that you and Jason had drinks on the podcast.
Yes.
You guys do like a different drink every time, which is cool. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, we were doing whiskey of the week, and then we did drinks of the day.
Yeah, that's cool.
we ran out of whiskey, so we had to do. But to be honest, I mean, from a podcast to a podcast, like when you're doing these things, you have to think like that was like Jason thinks
outside the box.
Like, yeah, you have to think big, right? Like you have to think like, what happens if I take off? Like what is the gimmick? What is the thing? What can people add into? So I said, what if we do like a whiskey of the week or like a drink of the day or something like that? And then we get a sponsor, right? And then it'd be great for a case to show up that I didn't have to pay for,
Absolutely.
And so as of right now, I am just unpaid advertisements for Fanta, for Dolly. For Smoky,
Celsius. I'm a Celsius guy.
Yeah. But like my go-to that I have on most of the podcasts, it's called Slow in Low, and it's old fashioned straight out of the bottle. Like you don't have to do anything.
Wow.
Or right on Slow and Low. The bottle's really, really cool.
Is it orange?
It's like the bottle's like the bottle's black. It's got like a black and it's got like a swirly lid. Actually, the reason I bought it because I'm that guy. I bought it because the bottle was cool.
Yeah, I did.
But
I
really like old fashioned, and it had like like the rock candy and stuff like that. It looked really kind of neat. Just it's the way that it's pictured on the bottle and the label and stuff. So I bought it. It's my absolute love. I love it. I make sure my bar is always stocked with that. So it's called Slow and Low, and it's very good. Cool. And they make a coffee too, an 84 proof black coffee. And that's also very, very good. So you can put some like cream with it, or like I put like Bailey's or like an Irish cream with it, and it's just a nice sipper at the end of the night type of thing. But it's a nice full body. But 84 proof, you can't balk at that. Like that's really
no. That's not. What's funny is they were talking about things here and now, and a lot of things get lost in translation. So like the other day I was at I don't remember where I was, but I said something about I asked somebody, do you remember No-Dos? No. Do you remember No-Dos? It's the caffeine pills. They're like No-Dos, like you don't doze off. It's almost like what Jesse's
gas stations. Like
it's like what Jesse Spano did. I'm so excited. But it's funny because they're like no, and I'm like, they did have those, right?
That's not a Mandela effect, is it? Like
Yeah. But my favorite tying those two with the drink thing is one of my favorite skits on SNL is Horatio Sands plays Carol.
Okay.
That he dresses up like a woman and he goes, "Hi, I'm Carol," and it's and so they do a skit and he's up there like at a bar and he's like, let me get and he just started, let me get a Shamrock Shake with a side of Jameson. And the guy's like, what? He's like, that's Shamrock Shake, that's McDonald's and it's July. They don't even have, that's St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
And then he says, oh, the heck with it, just give me some Mad Dog 2020 and crush some No-Dos up in it. The worst combination of a drink you can like.
Right. Oh
like,
man, that's like a
witch hazel and Kahlua or something. You know, hand lotion and Kahlua or something like that. Thanks for watching this part 1 of a 3-part podcast. Stay tuned for part 2 and part 3 coming soon.